Imagine a world shrouded in the deep mist of time. 100 millennia ago. A span almost incomprehensible to the modern mind. What secrets does it hold? What narratives remain untold, buried beneath layers of ice, rock, and forgotten dust? We peer back, not merely into a past age, but into a crucible. A moment of profound, perhaps cosmic, significance. For on this earth, a story unfolded. A story we are only just beginning to truly decipher. Was it merely our own ancestors struggling for survival? Or was there something more? Earth, 100,000 years before our calendars marked the present. It was a planet both familiar and alien. Vast ice sheets gripped the northern continents, locking away enormous volumes of water. Sea levels, hundreds of feet lower than today, exposed vast land bridges. A different map. Different coastlines. The air itself, a different composition. A world on the cusp of profound change, caught between glacial advance and retreat. But amidst this colossal geological drama, life thrived. Our ancestors walked this stage. Unaware of the silent observers, perhaps. At this distant juncture, the human lineage was fragmented. Not one, but several hominin species shared the planet. Homo sapiens, our direct ancestors, were beginning their epic migration out of Africa. Neanderthals dominated much of Eurasia, adapted to the cold. Denisovans, a more enigmatic group, roamed parts of Asia. Each, a branch of a complex family tree. Each, striving for existence. But the narrative we often tell ourselves, one of linear, isolated evolution, feels incomplete. Did these nascent cultures truly develop in absolute isolation? Or were there external forces at play? The out-of-Africa migration. A monumental journey, often depicted as a slow, arduous spread across continents. Small bands of Homo sapiens, driven by climate shifts or resource scarcity, ventured into unknown territories. But was it merely survival instinct that propelled them forward? Or a whisper? A directive? Some scholars point to periods of unusually rapid dispersal, almost as if guided. What if the path was not simply forged by raw determination, but illuminated by an unseen hand? Or perhaps, by a blueprint? The Neanderthals. Often portrayed as brutish, primitive cousins. Yet, archaeological evidence reveals a far more complex picture. They cared for their sick, buried their dead with rituals, created tools, even ornaments. A sophisticated culture. But their eventual disappearance remains a topic of intense debate. Was it competition with Homo sapiens? Climate change? Or did something else intervene? Their genetic legacy lives on within us. A faint echo. A reminder of a coexistence that might have been more profound, more engineered than we imagine. This period also marks a critical phase in the development of human consciousness. The emergence of symbolic thought. Art. Language. Tools that moved beyond mere utility to express aesthetic values. Was this an entirely internal, organic leap? A slow unfolding? Or was there an external spark? A catalyst igniting the latent potential within our species? The sudden acceleration of cognitive abilities in certain populations, appearing almost spontaneously, has long puzzled anthropologists. What if the blueprints for consciousness itself were shared? Stone tools. The very bedrock of archaeology. We see refinement, specialization. Blades, scrapers, projectile points. Crafted with increasing skill and efficiency. But some artifacts stand out. Tools found in contexts that suggest a level of technological understanding beyond simple flint knapping. Precision. Purpose. Like the incredibly sharp, delicate obsidian blades, often found far from their source material. How were these complex logistical networks established? Or perhaps, the knowledge of their creation was not entirely indigenous. While monumental architecture like the pyramids are millennia younger, glimpses of early, sophisticated construction exist even in this epoch. Small scale, yes, but revealing. Like organized settlements, defensive structures, or even early attempts at modifying natural caves with unnatural precision. Who taught them to align stones? To understand basic engineering? Or were these early builders simply mimicking something grander they had witnessed? Not necessarily from fellow humans, but from elsewhere. Deep in South Africa lies Blombo's Cave. A site that rewrites our understanding of early human cognitive abilities. Here, 100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens were creating abstract patterns on ochre plaques, perforating shells for beads, and storing tools in sophisticated ways. Evidence of abstract thought. Symbolism. Not a primitive existence, but a flourishing intellectual one. Far earlier than previously believed. Was this an independent evolutionary spark? Or did these ideas, this capacity for complex thought, originate from a foreign input? A sudden infusion of knowledge. Venturing across vast landscapes, navigating by stars and subtle land features. The very act of migration implies an innate, or perhaps learned, capacity for direction. But some researchers suggest hints of incredibly sophisticated spatial awareness. Almost as if using early forms of maps. Perhaps not drawn on parchment, but held in collective memory, or even hinted at in symbolic arrangements of stones. How did these nomadic peoples achieve such incredible feats of navigation, often across uncharted terrains? Were they merely following instinct? Or a guiding light? A different kind of compass? Across various fields, toolmaking, symbolic expression, even societal organization, the archaeological record shows periods of remarkable acceleration. Jumps in development that seem to defy gradual evolutionary timelines. It's as if a new software update was suddenly installed. Or a mentor appeared. A source of advanced insights. What if these accelerations were not purely internal human ingenuity, but the result of interaction? A subtle, yet profound, transfer of information from a vastly more advanced source? While written records are millennia away, the earliest forms of oral tradition, etched into the very fabric of nascent cultures, speak volumes. Myths. Legends. Passed down through countless generations. Many contain themes of sky people, star beings, or divine entities descending to Earth to impart knowledge, teach skills, or even interfere in human affairs. Are these just imaginative tales? Or distorted memories of actual encounters? Memories of visitors from beyond our world? The emergence of complex language. A fundamental characteristic of humanity. Its origins remain hotly debated. Was it a gradual process of grunts evolving into words? Or a sudden, almost miraculous, leap? The complexity of even the earliest reconstructed languages suggests an inherent, sophisticated structure. Some theories propose a single origin point, a proto-language. What if this foundational linguistic template wasn't entirely self-generated? What if it was, in some form, programmed or inspired? A gift from above? Genetic studies reveal periods of drastic population reduction in early human history, known as genetic bottlenecks. Our entire species, at one point, may have dwindled to a remarkably small number. A fragile thread of survival. But what if these bottlenecks weren't just environmental? What if external factors played a role? A reset. A selection. Almost as if a cosmic gardener was pruning the evolutionary tree, guiding its growth along a specific trajectory. Leaving only the most promising specimens. Numerous hominin species existed 100,000 years ago. Today, only Homo sapiens remain. Why? The explanations are often simplistic. Competition. Disease. But the scale of disappearance, the sheer lack of clear transitional fossils for some lineages, leaves questions. Did they simply die out naturally? Or were some populations removed? Perhaps integrated into a larger, emerging human group? Or, more unsettlingly, deemed unfit for a grander cosmic experiment? Long before modern astronomy, ancient peoples gazed at the stars. Not just for navigation or timekeeping, but for meaning. We find evidence of early astronomical observation, an attempt to map the cosmos. But some ancient star maps, or arrangements of stones reflecting celestial patterns, are incredibly precise. Almost too precise for the tools and knowledge attributed to the era. A knowledge that seems imported. Could these early stargazers have been taught? Shown the heavens in a way we can only now begin to imagine? Throughout archaeological history, there have been discoveries that simply don't fit. Out-of-place artifacts, or UPARTs, that challenge our established timelines. While many are later debunked, some endure. Objects displaying anachronistic levels of sophistication. Precision. Materials. Could these be remnants from a lost civilization? Or, more provocatively, items left behind by visitors from another world? Accidental discards. Or deliberate clues, strategically placed for discovery at a later, more receptive time? Consider the sheer scale of the universe. Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars. To believe Earth is the only planet to harbor intelligent life seems, statistically, improbable. It is perhaps arrogant. If life is abundant, and technological civilizations arise, then interstellar travel, while challenging, becomes a logical outcome. Is it not plausible that some advanced species, millennia ahead of us, would have explored the cosmos? And in their explorations, stumbled upon a nascent Earth, ripe for observation, or perhaps, for intervention? The question shifts from are they real, to what was their role? Were they merely passive observers, studying early humans like scientists in a cosmic zoo? The zoo hypothesis. Or did they actively intervene? Gently nudging, planting seeds of knowledge, steering the course of human development? A guiding hand, almost imperceptible. Like a gardener carefully tending to a sapling. Shaping its growth, ensuring its survival. For a purpose yet unknown. Archaeology beautifully charts the incremental steps of human progress. Yet, certain leaps feel too abrupt. Too sophisticated for the immediate preceding evidence. Think of the sudden appearance of complex toolkits, or the rapid spread of entirely new cultural practices across vast distances. Where is the missing link in this technological and intellectual chain? Is it simply undiscovered? Or does its absence itself suggest an outside influence? A missing piece, not of evolution, but of a broader, intergalactic puzzle. The study of ancient DNA has revolutionized our understanding of early human populations. We now know that Homo sapiens interbred with Neanderthals and Denisovans. Our genomes carry their echoes. But what if this genetic mixing wasn't limited to known hominins? What if there's a subtle, almost undetectable signature of something else? A foreign admixture, so subtle it's dismissed as statistical noise. A silent, biological whisper of an encounter, deep in our past. The Earth's climate 100,000 years ago was volatile. Glacial cycles dominated. But some researchers hypothesize that certain environmental shifts, particularly those that created specific corridors for migration or isolated populations, were almost too convenient. Too perfectly timed. Is it conceivable that an advanced intelligence could, subtly, manipulate planetary systems? Not cataclysms, but gentle nudges. Guiding the flow of life. Setting the stage for the unfolding of a grand experiment. Major volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and other natural disasters have punctuated Earth's history. They wipe the slate clean. Accelerate evolution. But what if some of these events, particularly those that created specific environmental pressures or opened new niches for human expansion, were not entirely random? What if a cataclysm, seemingly natural, served a deeper purpose? A reset button. Orchestrated, perhaps, to clear the way for a preferred lineage, or to test the resilience of an emerging species. Our ancestors worked with stone, bone, wood. The materials available to them. But scattered finds occasionally reveal objects made of materials that seem out of place. Unusually pure metals, inexplicable alloys, or even materials with properties that hint at advanced processing. How did early humans access or even understand such materials? Was it trade with a previously unknown culture? Or was it the debris, the discarded fragments, of a technology far beyond anything indigenous to Earth at that time? The surge of artistic expression 100,000 years ago, particularly in Blombos Cave, but echoed elsewhere, is profound. Engravings, abstract symbols, personal adornments. Not just functional, but beautiful. It signals a new way of thinking. A leap into symbolism and abstract representation. But what inspired this sudden blossoming of creativity? Was it purely internal? Or did they see something? Something truly magnificent, truly awe-inspiring, that compelled them to record it? To express it in patterns that resonate with universal geometry. Mastery of fire was a pivotal moment in human evolution. It provided warmth, protection, and allowed for cooking, dramatically altering our diet and brain development. But the precise moment and manner of its widespread, controlled use is debated. Was it a slow process of discovery? Or did the knowledge of its full potential arrive more suddenly? A technology, perhaps, demonstrated. Its benefits, quickly understood. A gift from those who already mastered energy. If an advanced civilization were observing Earth, their influence might be subtle. Invisible. Not grand landings and overt instruction, but a series of precise, strategic nudges. Altering a climatic pattern. Introducing a specific plant. Influencing key individuals through dreams or intuition. Guiding without forcing. A delicate touch, preserving the illusion of independent human development, while meticulously steering the course towards a predetermined future. A slow burn interaction. The ancient astronaut theory, popularized by Erich von Däniken, posits that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in antiquity and influenced early human civilizations. While often sensationalized, the core idea, that some unexplained elements of our past might have an extraterrestrial origin, persists. It offers a framework to interpret the anomalies. The sudden leaps. The myths. It suggests that 100,000 years ago, perhaps, was not just the dawn of humanity, but the dawn of our interaction with the cosmos. Sometimes, what's not found is as significant as what is. The absence of certain transitional fossils. The lack of clear evolutionary steps for some crucial cognitive abilities. The sudden appearance of sophisticated behaviors without obvious precursors. This evidence of absence isn't proof, but it creates a vacuum. A space for alternative explanations. A void that, for some, can only be filled by acknowledging an external, guiding force. Something beyond the purely terrestrial. What if Earth itself, and the evolution of humanity upon it, was part of a grander experiment? A long-term project by an advanced civilization. Planting the seeds of life, nurturing its growth, periodically checking on its progress. Perhaps Homo sapiens were the preferred subjects, subtly refined over millennia. This perspective reframes our entire history. We are not just products of random chance, but participants, perhaps unwitting, in a cosmic endeavor. Our DNA. The blueprint of life. A staggeringly complex code. If an intelligence wished to leave a message, to embed instructions or a signature, where better than in the very fabric of its creation? Some esoteric theories suggest that non-coding regions of our DNA contain sequences that appear too organized, too deliberate, to be purely random evolutionary noise. A cosmic signature? A hidden library of information awaiting activation. A message from our true creators. The Fermi paradox asks, Where is everybody? If life is common, why no obvious signs of advanced civilizations? The Great Filter theory suggests there's a barrier, a critical step, that almost all life fails to pass. Perhaps it's early life formation. Or, more chillingly, self-destruction. But what if the filter is not entirely natural? What if an external entity acts as a filter, allowing only certain species to advance, or guiding specific outcomes to avoid potential cosmic threats, or to achieve a specific evolutionary goal? Across continents, ancient art and petroglyphs, some dating back precisely to this 100,000-year mark, depict figures that defy conventional interpretation. Strange, helmeted beings. Figures with elongated heads. Beings that seem to float or wield unknown instruments. Are these shamanic visions? Stylized representations of animals or humans? Or are they, in fact, incredibly literal depictions of visitors? A visual record, painstakingly preserved, of the beings who once walked among our ancestors. Acknowledging the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement in our deep past is uncomfortable. It challenges deeply held beliefs about our uniqueness, our independent journey. It demands a re-evaluation of every archaeological discovery, every evolutionary step. But perhaps the greatest revelations always emerge from discomfort. From questions that refuse to be silenced. What if the most profound truth about who we are, and where we come from, lies not solely within Earth's history, but among the stars? Who lived on Earth 100,000 years ago? Our ancestors, undoubtedly. But perhaps they were not alone. The subtle anomalies, the sudden leaps, the recurring myths, when woven together, they paint a compelling, if speculative, picture. A tapestry where the threads of human development are intertwined with influences from beyond. What if our story, the story of humanity, began not just in the dust of Africa, but in the starlight of another world? We may never find definitive proof. But the questions linger. The possibilities beckon. And the truth, in some form, awaits our readiness,